Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the Bogey-free podcast for the Barbasol Championship. Nah, this is for the Open. We're not talking about Barbasol here. I am your host, Evan Chaney, today joined by Matt and Jimmy. How you doing today, guys?
Doing good, man. I wonder, if people listen to the first 3 seconds and then click off and our viewership tanks.
No. I mean, you know what?
Yeah, the 11 people that usually watch and listen are really just are off already.
I mean, here's the thing, though. We would be way ahead of the curve, though. Because if someone out there is betting Barbasol, I don't know if they have DFS for it, but if they have Barbasol bets, because I know my man Will Wilcox is out there.
Bro. Full send.
That tells you everything you need to know about the Barbasol field. If Willie's in it.
Yeah, degenerate gamblers like us DraftKings folks are not invested enough for DraftKings to release an event for that. So I imagine that we should focus on the Open. And
in the past month,
and the reason I'm wearing my British hat again, fired up for this week, man.
It's a nice hat.
Fired up for this week. It is a nice hat. Thank you.
It's a great hat.
You know what
my grandfather's hat, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay. You know what I'm really fired up for?
What?
I don't know if you guys have been scrolling through the lobby yet for contests, but this is, as far as I know, a new addition here to the DraftKings lobby.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm going to say?
Well, there's several new structure. The way they've structured the contest offering this week is new and different. So there's several you could choose from actually.
The 8-iron is right up my alley.
Nice.
It's $8, 5 entry max. It's perfect.
Boom. Yeah.
I really like that. And it's a pretty flat up top. It's not, you're not going to become a millionaire, but 5,000 at first, and it's reasonably flat through the top 5 at least. So I was pretty happy when I saw that. 50K.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I think DraftKings did a really good job of making this an inclusive, major for every bankroll and trying to get some more casual money in right before football season. Probably not a coincidence either. I think this is what the casual golf community has been kind of looking for a while in terms of a contest offering. So I applaud DraftKings for kind of probably going out on a bit of a limb because these are totally new offerings and totally new structures. So. I'm excited to see it because I hope it just grows the sport more than anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I was happy to see that. There's like you mentioned, there are quite a few, but that one jumped out to me right away. The 5 entry for a little bit higher entry fee was pretty cool. And there's a bunch of 3 entry maxes too.
Yeah, and there's a single entry dog leg this week, which is crazy. $33 single entry.
I might need to hop in that too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real fucking broke on Sunday.
I've already max entered the 4. I've already got all my entries into the $4. Got a couple too many millionaire maker lineups already. I'm already exposed pretty heavily this week.
One of these contests is a little fishy.
Which one?
The hybrid. The 3 entry max hybrid.
Which one is that? The 150 buy-in?
16.1% rake.
Better than 18.
I've never seen that before. That high. Anyway, you know what?
Don't play that one.
Stuff happens.
It's lower rake than the millionaire maker. I can tell you that. Doesn't matter. I'm excited to see some new contest offerings. So
this is good.
I think good on DraftKings and good for good for the Open, man. For the majors, I'm just fired up for this week.
For sure. I do want to jump. I do want to jump right into it because I know we're gonna probably go very long. But LD Money took down the 40-man listener league this past week. Make sure that you hop in this week. I put it up at 75, so don't let me down. We're about almost 2/3 full right now. So make sure you get in if you're listening to this and you haven't clicked yet. I'll put it on the iTunes link like I've been doing, and I'll tweet it out during the week too. So make sure you hop in and fill that so we could get a nice big Open Championship listener league going.
Sounds good. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this thing. Jimmy, I will throw it to you first. talk about this course, what stats you're looking at to build a player pool this week, and how people are going to win the Millie Maker this week.
Well, the course we're starting to get our first reports like on the ground as the guys are getting there. So that's it's links golf, right? So we're playing Carnoustie. It's a par 71, 2 par 5s, and a whole bunch of par 4s, most of them long, 450 to 500 yards. Accounts for like 8 or 9 of the holes on this, or 7 holes in this golf course. So that is your focus range for like your whole lengths if you're going to be dialing into that. But links golf, and specifically link golf at Carnoustie, is a full. You need your whole game there, 100%. And it's not, despite the length of the course, based on what I've seen early this week already, the course is really fast and is really firm. And guys will have decisions on what to hit off of the tee because they will be able to let their drives run and run and run. So the distance of the course, one of the things that initially we think of Carnoustie as one of the longest on the road and one of the toughest, certainly is, but length is generally an issue, and it potentially might not be as big of an issue this week if it stays this firm. But either way, it is a brutal test of golf all around. The bunkers are absolutely diabolical at this golf course, and there's no way to really avoid them. You have to challenge the bunkers off of the tee. You have to challenge the bunkers into the greens, especially with it being as firm, and you're going to have balls running out into the collection areas all around these greens. Scrambling is going to be uber important. I would say scrambling at Carnoustie is probably more important than any other open road course, just because of how difficult it is and how, for a links course, I feel like it's a bit claustrophobic because the look off of the tees is tight. Like I said, you have to challenge a lot of things off of the tee. So it is just a really difficult test of golf all around. Guys are going to be struggling. We are going to see meltdowns. 1999, Jean-Claude Van de Velde, the most famous one, what made me fall in love with links golf. We're going to see something like that again this week. I feel like we're going to see a lot of guys frustrated, and we're going to have a proper open.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, no, I think Jimmy hit everything. That the closing stretch there is just insane. Yeah. The par 3 16th is like almost 250 yards. And then it closed, the 17 and 18 are not a heck of a lot easier than that either. So if it's even remotely close coming down the stretch on Sunday, you could definitely see a guy just completely blow up and lose the lead right there at the end. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more entertaining than this past week with what Michael Kim won by 8 strokes, I think, once all was said and done.
We said like
there's been a couple
weeks
right?
in a row that have just been like super calm Sundays.
No reason to watch on Sunday unless you have a sweat. So hopefully this week will be different. I think it should be. Obviously, a stronger field lends itself to that. There's going to be a lot of guys competing, looking for a major. So hopefully, I think everybody in the top 70 is playing this week. I don't think there's anybody injured or withdrew or anything like that. So it's a full field and a lot of guys to talk about. So why don't we do that?
Yes, so we will get into our 10K and up guys, obviously our top players in the world here. Jimmy, I'll throw it to you first. Who do you like in this range?
It's Dustin Johnson. It's not close, and I really don't like anybody else to try and keep it like short and sweet. DJ is the guy up here. I would rank Rose second, Spieth third, or Rory third, Spieth fourth, JT fifth if I was ranking them.
All right. Why? I mean, I'm just, for shits and giggles, why Dustin Johnson above all else?
He's Dustin Johnson. He has an exceptional links record. He plays very well in the wind. He has a game that can dominate this golf course. I think if you look at a U.S. Open that sets up kind of similar to this golf course, I think it is Oakmont, where DJ won. Just everything fits really well for DJ, except the fact that he's the number one golfer teeing it up here. I don't think the number one golfer's won an Open since Tiger did it. And then before that, I'm not sure if one ever did. So it's not something that happens very often, one of those like trends, right, that I think we all key in on. But it's DJ. He's playing really well. I am a little worried about his lack of a Sunday charge this year. We've seen him closed out by a couple of, less
cutting out on us.
Yeah.
Like Ted Potter and stuff. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Ted Potter earlier closing them out. DJ on Sunday has maybe been a little concerning, but I'm not it's not going to sway me off of him or anything. For 11-3, this sets up very well for Dustin. And yeah, I think Spieth is, who knows what's happening with Spieth right now. It's just too much variance for me. Rory, this does not set up for the type of track that Rory scores well at on an open, fast, firm, and potentially windy is not Rory's wheelhouse at all. Rose would certainly be the other one that bears consideration here for me. And then Justin Thomas is kind of a wild card. I don't really know what to expect, but I just haven't been I don't know. There's nothing that woos me towards him. So it's DJ and then nobody.
Hey, Matt, how you feeling this range?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously DJ is, I was looking it up before. I think 18 of his last 20 starts, he's been in the top 20. And he obviously has the pretty recent win. What was that, Memphis that he won?
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, and the pricing is so soft. You can find excellent golfers pretty much throughout. I don't know what, really 6,700 and up almost. You can find some guys that you feel comfortable playing this week. So it's not like a typical week where a guy's 11-5 or 11-6 and there's nobody in the $7,000 range. You could fit whoever you want in your lineups this week. So DJ is definitely up there. I obviously will have probably more than a healthy heap of Justin Thomas, but just because that's just what I do. Outside of that, I'm sort of with you. I don't know that this is the best place in the world for Rory. And I'll definitely have, I think Rose is pretty safe, cash wise, and I'll have some GPP shares of Spieth. I wish he wasn't 10-6, but I think it's worth a stab regardless of what you think of his current form. I think Spieth can snap back and figure it out and be fine. So there's really no harm in taking some shots on him as well. But I would go DJ and JT for most of my exposure up here.
To support your claim, or the reasoning behind playing Spieth, regardless of his form, right? His worst major performance occurred at the U.S. Open this year. Prior to that, he averages the most points of anybody in the field at majors since 2015. He averages the most points at the Open of anybody in the field by 9 points, slightly edging out Henrik Stenson for most points at the Open the last 3 years as well. So it's not like links golf is foreign to him, and certainly could his game turn around? Yeah, it would be incredibly Spieth-like to do that. So I mean, if somebody was taking shares, or you wanted to get contrarian with him, I wouldn't. I don't hate it. I just don't think I'm going to spend precious exposure there. Because he's just all over the place.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely right. He could snap. He could bring it back in, and if he popped up and defended here, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing.
I mean,
it's really frustrating, and it's I would continue to hate him, but it wouldn't be surprising probably.
Yeah. What was it? I mean, last year I guess he won right before the Open, right? Yeah. But leading into that, he didn't have the greatest of forms either. And this is the type of place, especially. Let me get your thoughts on this at least. We've seen what Snedeker tweeted out. He had a 420-yard drive on one of the holes. So clearly it's baked out like crazy. So if Spieth somehow manages to find some fairways and he has short clubs into these greens, I mean, you'd have to think that he would do pretty well, no?
Yeah, I think. See, I'm going to apply that logic to a lot of other players in the field, so I can't not apply it to him.
Right.
The challenge is that in his last 3 starts, one being the U.S. Open, we don't know other than to say that he, I don't know where he gained or lost strokes. All I know is he net positive. He had net positive strokes, and I'm guessing with his putter. But at the Memorial, he lost 2 strokes off the tee and 4 strokes on approach. At the U.S. Open, he missed the cut badly. I'm sorry, not badly. He was close to the cut at the U.S. Open. He wasn't that far off. And then at the Travelers, he finished 42nd, but he lost strokes again. He lost more strokes off the tee, and he was still losing a full stroke on approach. But his putter finally turns around, picking up 3.2. I don't know. It just seems like once he figured out how to putt again, he lost his irons, and then back.
He's playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah, exactly. And I just it's hard for me to say like in a guy on the most difficult course these guys are going to see all year. Can a guy get it there? And
I would rather him just continued sucking at putting and still striking the ball well, and I'd feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If that was the case, I would not have such a staunch argument against it. You're 100% right.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree with that take as well. I don't know. Spieth is odd, right? It just seems to happen to me every time I roster Jordan Spieth. He sucks. It just happens. It might be my fault.
Don't blame yourself. It's happening to the entire community. It's not just you.
No, I mean it's like when you stopped drinking Natty Light and Smiley Kaufman just sucked. I feel like I did something to piss off Jordan Spieth. Because he always gets like his 40th place finishes when I run. It just bothers me. All right. We'll move down here to our 9K range. Rom, the homie. How you guys feel about him?
Pass. Ooh. Hard pass.
That hurts.
Aggressive.
No,
at least give me a reason.
I'm a reason. Did you look at the course? Did you see where they're playing? It's like hell on grass.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Do we think John Rahm could hold it together when his perfectly struck drive takes a weird, funky bounce to the right and he ends up in the face of a giant revetted bunker that's taller than him? Like he's the guy that makes the hero play and ends up with a quadruple bogey. If he dials it back and he plays within this golf course and he plays links golf and he doesn't try and bomb it and he finesses the ball and everything. Could he be successful? Absolutely. Is he talented enough? Sure. Am I going to roster him? Hell no.
Man, that's cold. But I can see where you're
coming from. Backs.
I can see where you're coming from, though. Matt, who are you liking in this 9K range?
Yeah, I'm with Jimmy for the most part on Rahm. I can't imagine having 0% of him because I just that's not something that I ever do. But I will definitely be hesitant to roster him in a lot of spots, especially given that he's $200 less than JT. Like I'll just find the $200 and play JT in most of those lineups. Outside of that, I mean, I know what Fleetwood has the record here, the tournament record here, but it's a different setup. When they played, what was it, Dunhill, I think.
Yeah, for sure, dude. The Dunhill's like a pro-am, basically.
Yeah, it's like Pebble. I was reading somewhere. So
they play it on like 3 different courses. It's set up for like executives to have a great time.
Yeah. So, and I think he even said as much. I was looking before, and I think he even said like, this is it has nothing to do with it. Like it doesn't matter. That being said, I don't think he's a bad play. He's still one of the more talented golfers I think in the world right now. What are your feelings on Ricky? Because I'm not rostering Brooks because I never do, and I'm not rostering Sergio because I don't want to. So should I be playing Ricky here?
I picked him to win on Mayo's show.
Well, there you go.
He rates out number 1 in my overall blended model. I feel like if there's an opportunity for Ricky to get a major, it's going to be an Open. I think it fits. So total narrative street, but Arnie was kind of the guy that came over and made the Open what it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And golf is sort of missing that ambassador. Brooks and DJ are fun and cool, but neither one of them want to be ambassadors to the game. Golf is sort of missing that. This sets up like so well for Ricky to kind of cement himself into the lore of golf history with his major win at the toughest course on the road. It all sets up for like golf, right? I don't know if he actually gets it done because there are a few specific things I think need to happen for Ricky to win, and that he cannot be leading. He can't be in the final group. Couple of those things. I think if he's paired with one of his buddies, it's bad. So there's some things that I think Ricky's going to perform really well. And I would love to see him win, and I think he can win. But like I'm playing Ricky for his, what I think is top 5 consistency at this event. I think that a top 5 is well within range. And then if he has a shot for the win, great. Yeah, I'm high on Ricky this week, and I'm actually really high on Brooks too. The guy just owns majors, and he has owned this major as well as the U.S. Open the last couple of years in terms of scoring. So I'm going to be very heavily exposed to Brooks. Ricky and Brooks are probably my 2 favorite plays on the whole slate.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously you like Ricky too for his short game, right? He's been great.
And it's not just the short game; it's his links ability, and this is sort of like the unquantifiable thing that I'll reference a lot. I referenced it on the Golf Gods last night. I referenced it in my video for Fanshare Sports. When it comes to the Open, links experience or the ability to handle links golf is crucial to me. John Rahm, like I'm not playing him because the kid does not have that mental ability to me right now in his game. Ricky is that grinder. He's that clutch guy that gets up and down all the time from everywhere, makes his par, moves on, keeps within himself, much more so than when he was a younger player. Brooks, again, another great example. He just doesn't let the pressure get to him. Well, shit, I got to do this, got to do that, get up and down. Like how many times on the way down the stretch at the U.S. Open did Brooks just like recover from what seemed like a bogey and grinded out this clutch par? Like he just does it. He has the confidence. He knows, so he gets aggressive, and he can play links golf too. But they both know what Rahm doesn't. They know when they have to back off a shot and they have to go out sideways or take the safe play. They know how to manage that, and there are a lot of golfers that I don't think know how to do that very well.
Yeah.
Ricky does. Ricky plays links golf well. He's creative enough around the greens. He's imaginative enough that he can get himself up and down without getting himself in too much trouble, is my opinion.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Ricky's playing with Rahm and Chris Wood, so for the first 2 days. Yeah,
I actually have a couple of key tee times that I noted, and that's one of them. I'll be interested to see kind of how that group plays. But when we get down a little lower, I have maybe a hot take after I saw the pairings.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We live for the hot take here. Dumb question. Has this course been, because I'm not seeing anything specific, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. Has this course been renovated at all?
No,
since 2007?
Not in any significant fashion since 1931 or something.
Okay. No, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's basically the same as old Tom Morse designed it. By and large, 1931 was his last major renovation. There have been some touch-ups, but they didn't change the course in any like measurable or reasonable manner.
But nothing that'll make it anything you're looking at.
It should be almost identical to 2007 in terms of its like length and hole structure and composition, etc.
Yeah.
Again, just curious. Any other hot takes here for the 9K range?
No,
we jump down to 8.
No, but I think one of the things I mentioned about Tiger in previous podcasts, and I mentioned last night on Golf Gods, we worry about Tiger if he might have to hit his driver a lot here, but with it being as baked out as it is, I don't worry about him having to hit his driver at all. It also brings Jason Day very much into play for me this week. If it's super baked out and dry, we saw what he can do. One, at Opens, he scored well at Opens for one. But two, when he dialed back with his driving iron and destroyed the Players Championship in a windy, super firm, super fast golf course, and he did it all with a 1 iron. I don't even know if he had a driver in his bag that week. Jason Day becomes really interesting to me because what he's done really well all year that we've all said is super unsustainable, and for the most part it is, because it bit him at the U.S. Open. But missing greens and then just crazy good scrambling, crazy good putting. Jason hasn't played since the Open, and Jason Day has been playing really good golf this year. I would certainly think that he would get his game a little more in order on approaches coming in here and have a plan on how to attack this golf course. $8,800 for his talent is crazy.
Wow.
Interesting.
This is a son, Evan.
So, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I I definitely get. I don't know. I just don't try. I don't. I'm not like a
215.
The hell's going on there?
I don't know. No idea what's happening.
2570.
What the fuck?
I don't know what's going on.
Thank you.
He's bed right now.
Evan's ordering Domino's.
I'm not sure. Anyway.
What the fuck?
Let me tell you something. These people.
Did you put your phone on silent when you're on a podcast?
No. These people have called me like 3 times during this show that we've been the duration of the show so far.
Oh no.
So I finally answered because it was just pissing me off already. And they're asking me for money. It's the school that I'm attending now, Penn State, asking me for money.
Sounds about right.
Do you owe them money, or are they just asking for like a donation? Oh, that's cute.
It's for the alumni network or whatever.
Don't you love when they do that?
You're gonna get those for literally the rest of your life.
Yeah. I'm already I'm not an alumni though. I'm just a student.
Maybe they have a positive outlook for you.
I'm still paying them all this money. I don't know what. Oh my god, I don't know.
You never give institutions enough money.
I apologize for that. That was. It was pissing me off. Anyway, where were we?
So I was about to talk about how much I love Paul Casey and Mark Leishman. I did not get my Pat Mayo pick in because I completely just fucking forgot to do it in time. But if I were to have sent one in, it would have been Leishman. I have a pretty good feeling about Leishman. I mean, obviously he's been, what was it, 15? He was in a playoff, I think.
Yep.
He has some positive open results. He can obviously play if the wind picks up. And he's put together a pretty solid, really last 2 years. I think he's been pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
His starts this year, he has been in the top 15 of DraftKings points in 50% of his starts. So that's something that, for this range, it's sort of like him, Phil, and Stenson are the leaders in that particular category that I've been looking at recently. So I also might be playing some Henrik Stenson this week.
Oh, you better be.
But I say that because I never do. So for me to be playing him, I think is like a very clear, everyone should be playing him because I don't play him. I think I could look back through all my entries ever, and the only time I played him was at the API last year when he was butt-ass naked because he had to go in the water and he had 3 chip shots that rolled back to his feet. So
Pete Kendrick.
Yeah. So I was finally I'll give this guy a try. And that's what happened. So
at least he gave you a show.
True. And that has also been my Abby, thanks to you at one point this year. So
don't blame me. You just made the wrong bet is all.
All right. But yeah, I mean, we're not buying the elbow injury thing, right?
I'm not. Does anybody want to guess the last time Henrik Stenson missed a cut at the Open?
A while ago, I'd assume.
More than 10 years ago.
It was at this course 10 years ago.
Ah.
Yeah. So since then, he has not missed a cut. The only person better than him is Zach Johnson, who has not missed a cut since. Henrik's played 9 of 10 since then. Zach Johnson's played all of them since then, and he hasn't missed a single one. So Stenson's got the best 10-year Open record.
There you go.
It's hard to get past Stenson. The fact that the course is super baked out, I think initially I thought would favor him a little bit with his 3-iron or 3-wood, but it may put the emphasis so much more on scrambling that I get slightly concerned, especially with this projected high ownership. But I will not be off of him. I'm still going to have quite a bit of Henrik Stenson. But the fact that the scrambling may be much more in play with being super dry does concern me a bit with Stenson. It's not exactly his strong suit.
Yeah, I think it's also sort of, I was looking at the odds versus the salary, and the guys around him, Norin, Reed, Molinari, all have longer odds and are more expensive. So that's another reason I was trying to look for some value according to Vegas, and I think his odds are he's a little bit underpriced for his Vegas odds. That's what I was trying to say. I can't put sentences together, but that's what I meant to say.
I'm with you on Leishman, by the way. I think Leishman's an excellent play this week.
All the Leishman. Yeah. Maybe 100%.
Wow.
Definitely 100%.
Very
confident. For $8,000, like, wow. I don't know. Is there like I can't really like tell myself a story where he just like bombs out and misses the cut.
Oh, I can. It's the Open.
But yeah, I mean, you could say that for anybody.
Exactly. That's why I can. There's absolutely like a strong percentage chance that can occur here. It's the Open. Leishman, I think, is on the safer end of that, but like for sure, anybody can miss the cut here.
Well, yeah.
All right. No other takes here in the 8K.
Reed is squarely in play as well for me. I'm not sure how much Casey or Molinari or Hideki. I think I'm going to have 0 Hideki because it's him and Knox paired with Tiger, and I'm not sure. I think maybe like the crowds and such at Tiger bother Hideki a little bit. I don't know. Plus, he missed the cut at the Castle Stewart last week, which is less than encouraging. So the hot takes start at 7,900.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, I want to hear these hot takes. So let's jump down to our 7K range and share some hot takes for us.
79. Like so, initially, a lot of people I think are on Hatton, and I'm one of them. I wrote him up, and it's before I found out one crucial piece of information today. And I think Hatton has a lot of opportunity here, but he is going to be paired in the first 2 rounds with a really, really slow golfer in Patrick Cantlay. Hatton is not exactly known for his patience.
Just a fucking understatement.
So
he flipped off a bunker last week.
Yeah, he's passionate.
That's amazing. Like that. That's just.
He's like Baby Rom.
Yeah. So like, I wrote him up, and I wrote him up with the disclaimer that like, so I remember the last time everybody was on Hatton at the Masters in a year ago or 2 years ago. I think it was a year ago.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, and he played really, really bad.
Real bad.
Like really bad. Like
real bad.
I think he scored 8 DraftKings points bad.
Not great. That's not what you want.
So, like, and he doesn't have the most exceptional Open record either. Despite being a qualified links player, I mean, it could go really bad for Hatton, and if he gets super chalky, I may find my way away from him and just have very minimal shares. I do like his upside because he's playing some really great golf lately, and when I say really great, his recent form is exceptional. But if it goes bad for him this week, it could go really bad. And being paired with Patrick Cantlay is not going to help him. And this is all very narrative and whatnot. But man, if you watch Cantlay play, dude, he is like slower than Kevin Na, right? And he's not a links player. He is going to be confused and taking his time out there this week. I don't see him playing fast at all. And I could definitely see the first 2 rounds Hatton being just losing his shit, like cussing in the fairway. Like, are you kidding me? Just hit the freaking ball, man. Like, I don't know. I just think like a hothead like that with a noted slow player in a tough conditions could maybe not be the greatest combination for high ownership.
I think that's
but it's great statement. TV.
What's that?
It makes for compelling television.
For sure. I just don't know if it makes for like a compelling argument for heavy ownership.
Oh, yeah, no, that's...
So, and again, I may be reading way too much into it, but like I said, I mean, Hatton's not exactly known for his patience. So, and like, and I know that Patrick Cantlay isn't exactly going to be flying through golf rounds at the Open.
No. Just if you didn't see him like losing his shit the other day, like find it on Twitter somewhere. I'll try to find it. I think I liked it. It was fucking hysterical. It was really great. I don't really like him. And I don't, again, this is sort of the same thing as like basically the same price as Leishman. I don't know how many lineups I'm going to have with two guys right next to each other like that. So I'll probably just play a lot of Leishman. And I'm probably going to sack. What are your thoughts on Grace? Because I think I'm going to have a fair dose of him in cash at least.
Lots of upside with Grace, and I think he could kind of go forgotten here because I don't think it's going to be exceptionally windy, but it does look like we're going to get some wind on Friday right now.
Yeah.
Sort of like mid-morning, potential early rain, and then mid-morning, and then winds are going to be up in general across all day Friday. But there is a little spell in the mid-morning that's worse. But Friday will be windy, and Sunday looks like it could be absolutely brutal. And again, this is a long way out. Weather changes drastically here. But Grace, I think, could go under-owned and certainly could overperform on this track.
Yeah, and also along the lines of like the weather stuff, if you're playing Showdown on Sunday and the wind is up, you could definitely find some good plays from like chasers that might be able to like post and pray before the wind gets too crazy. So definitely keep an eye on that if you grind some of the Showdown slates. I know we haven't seen Kuchar since he missed the cut at the US Open. What are your thoughts there?
Bro, initially I looked right past him as I started doing my research like late last week and kind of before we had like reports on the ground, but I am trending more and more towards Kuchar as I build lineups. Him and Poulter actually, which worries the hell out of me. But again, I'm going to go to this links management. Both of these guys in Poulter and Kuchar, Poulter, despite being a bit of a hothead, has exhibited a lot more cool in his elder age. I say elder age, he's still a pretty young guy, but he's certainly, one of the older guys on tour. And
didn't he like get in a fight with a marshal last week?
I mean, who doesn't though?
Listen,
let's be real here.
I don't know that to be true, but it wouldn't surprise me.
He apologized for something on Instagram, so I think there was a bit of a tiff, as the English blokes might call it.
Tiff. Oh, he got his panties in a bunch. I don't know, but I have seen like a softer side of Poulter in the last year.
Oh, I love Poulter. You don't need to talk me into Poulter. So, but the hate has gone too far on him that I'm like back on the Poulter train.
Yeah, could we talk about for a second like how awesome these British broadcasters can be? I mean, my God, like during the World Cup in Wimbledon, things that have just occurred recently. No, but like just like the announcers, they just say the most whimsical things.
I wouldn't know because I watched like 3 minutes of World Cup and 0 minutes of Wimbledon, so I would not know.
I mean, the DFS Deegan in me was all about that tennis, and I love tennis anyway, so I was gonna watch it anyway.
I need you to be on a slate one day, Ev. That's what I need.
Me and my community college. I mean, technically I can qualify. I'm like near the qualifiers.
You'd be like a $6,100 underdog in a match one day.
Dude, if I ever get on a DFS tennis slate or a DFS golf slate,
I think you got a better shot at tennis.
Oh my God!
I shot a 57 on a par 9 or 9-hole course at par 9.
Nice.
Golf is definitely in your future.
Oh yes.
Matt, is your shelf falling like as we speak here? Behind you, it seems tilted.
My trophy shelf full of trophies, sports trophies.
No, Matt's.
No, I think it's my camera.
I thought you were talking about.
Oh, okay. Anyway, back to the golf.
I thought you were complimenting my trophies.
No, I thought Matt's shelf was going to hit him.
Let me give a shit.
Now I'm offended. All right, there you go.
Better? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks way better.
Yeah. Or as Tim Anderson might say, my participation trophies.
Don't hate on my hanging skills, James. All right.
I was just making sure you weren't going to die.
No, I'm a good like 6 feet, like in front of the shelf. Not to break down the fourth wall here, folks. But it's a little YouTube stream than they appear. Okay, don't you worry about me. I'll be fine.
All right, back to the
before
golf.
I was gonna say before we get rattled in the comments, there is still golf to be had here.
Yeah, I don't know where I left off. I got like like Buffett or something. But I do like Poulter. I do like Kuchar. Kuchar for his scrambling, I think, is really interesting here. He's just that type of golfer that has the ability to, he's going to all shucks his way all the way to like a top 10 run on Sunday because he's just got that attitude. Like, well, that's a bad break. Let me go hit the next shot, see what happens. He just it fits for him. Plus, it's Matt Kuchar in a major, $700, a lot of consistency there. Been playing better despite the U.S. Open performance. Been playing better his last 4 events. So I do like Kuchar. One guy I'll have 0 shares, and I mean this 100%. I'll have 0 shares of Russell Knox.
Yes, same. Bogey-free fade.
Yeah,
fade of the week.
Shares. He's paired with Tiger, bro. Give me a break. Not having it.
Yeah, full agree.
Bryson, my man. Microsoft commercials.
No, listen, he's got a cool hat, but other than that, I am not going to be playing him at this major. Nope.
All right.
Next.
I just like throwing names out here for the lulz, List. What about Luke List?
What about him? He played great. He played great on a golf course, that's like a putt-putt course as far as links courses are concerned. Coming to Carnoustie, it's going to eat his lunch.
God. You're just insulting everyone I throw out.
Throw better people out here. How about Patrick Cantlay? You want me to take on Patrick Cantlay? Fade.
Oh, man.
Fade Cantlay. I would play Xander over Cantlay for sure. Xander is a big game hunter. Definitely has the ability to show up on this golf course and get it done. I think Xander makes for a really solid pivot play. I don't think anybody's going to be on him down here, 7,400. Luke List, I think, is a trap play. People will look at his results from last week and they'll go to him, and I hope plenty do. I'll have no part of Luke List this week.
Okay. Matt, how do you feel about some of these 7K guys?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned definitely on Kuchar and definitely off some of these scrubs that are floating around here. I would tend to disagree. I will definitely have a little bit of list this week. I agree with you on Xander too. I think Snedeker for his price is reasonable, and I will have a metric shit ton of Tony Finau.
So Tony Finau's like the big question mark to me. There are 2 big ones. It's Finau and Grillo. So I knew you're going to be all over Finau, which makes sense. I'm not off him by any stretch, but are you going to be as in as you've been on all the rest of the majors with him?
I haven't played less than 50% of him probably this year, so I don't really see myself going under 50% with him. I think one of the main reasons that I'm doing that too is I was looking through and a lot of success sort of regardless at the Open Championship can be tied back to just general major success in that year. And obviously he performed very well and seems to be able to show up in strong fields. So I will book myself for at least 50% of him, potentially more, depending on how many beers I have on Wednesday night.
Nice.
Also worth noting, it's a super early lock. So you're not waking up Thursday morning and tinkering. You need to stay up late Wednesday to tinker. Just a heads up for everyone.
When is official lock time? I didn't even know.
I think it's 1:35.
Oh, bro. It's dangerous.
Yeah. So, yeah. Just obviously just keep that in mind, because you don't want to put in your dummy lineup and then wake up early on Thursday and see that everything's locked already.
For sure.
Not that that's ever happened to me or anything. I'm just saying, hypothetically.
I did that in NASCAR this week, actually.
Oh, you played NASCAR? You didn't even talk to me?
Oh, I just threw a few lineups. Dude, I missed the lock. I put a dummy lineup in and went to go back. I'm like, oh, I got plenty of time. It's Sunday. It wasn't Sunday.
Was it like a reasonable dummy lineup, or?
It wasn't unreasonable, but it didn't cash.
But sometimes I'll do a dummy lineup and just scroll all the way down and do all 6K golfers just so that I can be done with it. I never actually put thought into my dummy lineup, so maybe that's something I should be paying attention to.
My dummy lineup is my initial build. I take an initial thought process, let me just build a quick lineup and get some reason to it. I'll build one, and then like I put some thought into it, so I don't end up with that if I forget. But
makes sense.
I mean, you just got to build a better dummy lineup.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down
to. I mean, all my lineups are pretty dummy. So yeah. I mean, you can use that term sort of loosely. Also, real quick before we dip down under 7K, Nick Verone, who I noticed, or I mentioned a few weeks ago, took down, I think, like 20K in the Drive the Green. He's on the grounds at Carnoustie. He's not going tomorrow, but he will be there on Wednesday. So give him a follow. I retweeted it before. He gave a pretty in-depth notes of some things that he noticed at the warm-up rounds today. So give him a follow or check his site out so that you can stay up to date, because he's a sharp guy.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning him. I had a note to shout him out. That's an excellent tweet he put out, and it's for anyone that doesn't follow him, it's at NICKBARONE, Nick Verone. Give him a follow on Twitter. Definitely be putting out some great advice for this week, and this is definitely the week where you kind of need to kind of check a few of those sources on the ground and kind of have a first person's perspective of how the weather is there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so moving down through the 7K range, who are we? I see ZJ here is at 7,200. Is ZJ a guy you guys were targeting?
Oh my God, he's my third favorite play on the whole slate. He ranks number 2 in my overall blended model, right behind Ricky. I'm with you on Brandt Snedeker, by the way. I think Brandt has an excellent shot to put a top-notch performance out there this week. Of course, sets up really well for him.
Hasn't everything for Brandt, hasn't everything just worked out perfectly where he had a little pop performance in Memphis and then slowed down a little bit, and the pricing comes out, and then he top threes at the Greenbrier and just was unbelievable ball striking. It just worked out perfectly. For him to be 7,300, I think is pretty low. I also might take a couple GPP shares of Hao Tong Lee as well.
Sure.
I think he could be a little sneaky this week. I think he's underrated for how good he actually is. A lot of times I just scroll past him, but I probably shouldn't. So
super young kid too.
Yeah. And he's 40. He's in the top 40 or something, and he's 7,300.
I had him in some GPPs last year at this tournament. He put up 88.5 points and had that run on Sunday, which kind of vaulted me up some leaderboards.
Yeah.
So kind of indebted to Hao Tong for that last year. But he's played well on some other links courses as well in his career. If you go to some other websites and pull down all of his starts around the world, he has some decent results on comparable links courses. So can play the links golf, can the Hao Tong.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, let's hit some of these cheapos. What else we got?
7,200 Andy Sullivan is definitely a links player worth a look there. Danny Willett surprisingly has been playing he's popped a couple of times in the last month with some decent rounds. I wouldn't hate a total flyer on Danny Willett. That's a long stretch, but hey, just saying, man. I do have some guys lower. I don't think I'm going to have any of Webb Simpson this week. Thorbjorn is interesting for some links, kind of angles. But what about your boy, 7,000, G Woody?
I mean, I want to for the brand, but not that I'm giving a huge bump to it, but the short game is a little concerning. He's been just hemorrhaging strokes around the green. Ball striking's been okay, right? But it's he lost almost 3.5 at the Memorial and almost 4.5 around the greens at the Quicken. So, yikes!
I'm gonna blow your mind here, real quick. Gary Woodland ranks 31st in this field in average open points the last 3 years with 60. Links golf is not the worst thing for him. He averages more points at this major than any other major in the last 3 years. God bless you. Evan is allergic to Gary Woodland, apparently.
That's the sign. The fire alarm was. Before, that's the sign. The sneeze
I was talking about Matt Kuchar when you got the phone call. Maybe I shouldn't play Kuchar. Oh my God, this is gonna be bad.
Now the phone call was God telling me what's gonna happen.
Oh,
so
fantastic!
It wasn't as bad. I was kidding, but yeah, I think the sneeze though might be a sign.
Anyway, Gary Woodland, just sort of one of the things I noticed that this is the best major for him in terms of DraftKings points scored over the last 3 years. So just for what that's worth, I don't know if it's because it's a little tighter and he clubs down off of the tee and just plays that like low iron off of the tee.
Yeah, I think he does like sort of manage pretty well. Like I think he's not as stubborn as some of these guys when it comes to like making decisions off the tee, especially. So that can make sense. So when I can't, when I can't afford rent next month, you could speak to my landlord about how you talked me into Gary Woodland at the Open.
Conversely, when you win the Millie Maker with Gary Woodland in it, you can send me a percentage and tell your landlord to get the hell out of it.
It is so adorable that you think I'm playing the Millie Maker.
Listen, you might have won some DK bucks. You might
there's a 0% chance I'm having a lineup in that. I don't even play it in NFL. Like there's no way. It's not happening.
Enter a Matt Jones lineup in the Millie Maker, and you know what? Because there's a guy I'm going to play down here. He reminds me of you. He reminds me of you because you and him have a namesake together, and I'm going to play a Matt Jones Millionaire Maker lineup with Matt Jones in the lineup. Not kidding.
Was he 6,500?
I don't know, but he actually played well at a couple of majors. I brought him up on the podcast last night. We'll get to him in a minute, but either way, I'm going to do that for you. And if I win the Millie Maker, I'm gonna open up a trust fund in the name of your future kid. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna open up a trust fund for your kid with a percentage of my winnings from the Millie Maker. And I'm gonna say it's Matt Jones, and Gary Woodland might even be in that lineup for you too.
Well, I mean, if you're going bargain hunting down here, 6,600. Come on.
He's the next person on my list.
All the goddamn Stewart Sink.
Talk him up, bro.
All of the Stewart Sink. Like, yeah. There's no reason not to play him. He's an excellent human. He's an excellent golfer, and you'll feel great rooting for him because he has a nice shiny head. What?
Did you say human?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
What's a human?
We're not doing this.
I'm just saying, man. I feel like that judge in the Joe Pesci movie. My Cousin Vinny, the two Utes, Your Honor. Anyway,
whatever. All the Stewart Sink. Book it. 100% him and Leishman, and that's it. We're going.
Big fan of Sink this week. He stole it. He stole it away from Tom Watson in what may have been the greatest Open victory story ever. But it didn't happen, and that's okay. I remember, I think my dad cried that day, actually, when Tom didn't win. He was, he's going to win one for Team Old Guys, right? And Stewart Sink denied him that.
And now he's going to do it for Team Old Guy.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Full circle.
I think it might be full circle Team Old Guy. Sure. Big fan of Sink, playing some exceptional golf right now, and obviously a qualified links player. Distance, I don't think will be too much of an issue as the course is pretty baked out. Love what I see from the value at Sink at $6,600 this week. Probably will keep me away from the likely mistakes of Cook and Armour. As enticing as they are for like young, talented guys, I think the links experience is probably more important than grabbing a couple of guys that pop in stat models. I don't know. What are your thoughts on either one of those guys?
Yeah, no, I probably won't have much of anything with them. I'd rather, if I'm gonna go like fully after like young guys who can pop in some stats, it'll be Bronson Burgoon at 6,300. So
just riding the hot form, huh?
Yeah, I mean, why the hell not? Like, his name is fun to say. He's been striking the ball well. Like, he's in the model that I built on Fantasy National right now over the last 24 rounds. He is 17th in it, and everybody around him is like in the like 120s to 130s. Like he's the only green dot in the middle of all like the nonsense at his price. So
you mean John Daly doesn't give him a run for the money?
So yeah, I'll have that's like a GPP play. He's not going to be, in like a cash lineup or anything, but because I don't think you have to go down this low for that. But that's where I'm at.
What are your thoughts on Cameron Davis, the young Aussie player, super talented kid? It might be. I think it's his first major, which is crazy. But Aussie can play well in the wind. I think this track just sets up for like a lot of Australian type of courses, super firm, kind of windswept, flat, dune-ish, awkward bounces. Like I could see an Aussie playing really well here. And like I like other Aussies for the same reason. Same thing with some of the South Africans. Like at $6,500, there's nothing but upside for this kid. Take a share of him if you're doing a whole bunch of lineups. I wouldn't, I'll probably have him in like one of my $4 lineups.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe out of my 20 lineup build, I'll probably sneak him into one. But like we said, sort of at the top, like the pricing is so loose that you could really get away. Not to say that any of these guys that we've already mentioned in the 6K range aren't good plays, but you don't need to dip this low if you don't want to. Like you can certainly fill your lineup, build like a real nice balanced lineup with the pricing the way that it is this week.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot more that I like outside of that.
No, we're at the bottom, so I mean, I think we can probably stop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about Griot.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. So what? Hit me with your Griot like take, man, because it's like it sets up well, but
my gut is like just like I want to play him. Like he's been. I was working on something for like ownership and GPP winning lineups and stuff like that. And it's like, it's somewhat unbelievable how many GPP winning lineups that he's been in this year so far. It's almost like, I think he's like almost triple like the closest guy to him in amount of appearances in like the big either birdie or best ball or dogleg and the Millie Maker. But I don't know, is this one of those times where maybe that the price and I'd imagine his ownership is going to be reasonably high? Do you think it's just like a game theory avoid? Because you can't, I don't think you can really say he's not like a play that deserves attention. But
I think he's going to be like 15% owned at $6,800. Like he may be the chalkiest sub $700, sub
15. You said,
yeah. Like there's so much. Like so, when you look at consistency, like the reason to play anybody down here, he's by far in a way the best choice.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Recently, he's played some exceptional golf, and had some great finishes, et cetera, et cetera. Like I'm looking at his last 5 majors right now, and I'll just read off his points from the Masters in 2017 all the way through the U.S. Open in 2018. 41 DraftKings points, 18.5, 18, 14. Skipped the Masters this year, 15.5. Like, I mean, he's had some other major performances where he's made the cut, and he's had some decent results. The Masters in 2015 being one, in the PGA in 2016, or 2016 for the Masters and 2016 for the PGA. But I'm not sure links golf is his jam, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but at 15% ownership, I think I'll just not find out, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those where I feel like I won't feel that bad if I just completely fade him.
I agree. So, like, the other thing I keep thinking about, man, is like I talked about like head cases and guys blowing up and whatnot, and I like Griot, man, but
yeah,
the API last year, that 4-iron that he donated to the lake after he put one in the like, it's like, dude, it's like Thomas Peters, 2 years ago, snapping clubs because he put a ball in the gorse. It's like, that type of mentality to the game doesn't set well in Open Championship golf. And I can absolutely see that happening to a highly owned Griot, and just kind of mentally taking himself out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'll have some of him, but
yeah,
I'm not thrilled about it.
I'll probably tweet out some more thoughts about him as the week goes on, as I sort of decide what I'm going to do with him. But I don't know if I'll do it later or tomorrow during the day. But I was looking into like ownership and DraftKings points performance, and it's pretty wild how bad we are at identifying like good plays in the 6K range. And if I'm gonna be wrong, I'd rather just not play him. Like I would rather just deal with it and hope, say I don't know, say like Sync is gonna do just as well, right? And just put all my eggs in that basket. I'll live with that. Like I'll survive somehow.
That, or if you're not sold on a guy down here, this is where you would take, like, if you're not thrilled about grabbing 15% of Grillo, this is where you grab a bunch of like 5% guys and stick them in one lineup instead of one guy in 7 lineups, right?
Right.
Like that's my thought down here, because there's a lot of guys that are worth like one lineup. You got like this, Matt Jones, and these are like super high end GPP plays where you're like first or worst type of thing. But we've got a lot of options around Grillo. Nicholas Colser, good links player, right? Decent form. Alexander Levy, Dylan Fratelli, like the Sharma kid, the Shabachner Sharma kid. Like, I would not be shocked if this dude put together a decent performance on a tight, tough golf course, which is similar to what they have in India. There's a bunch of different plays around here, so it's really hard for me to just say, like, I'm going to take Grillo and not worry about it, when there's a lot of signs that say links golf may not be his thing.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. The other guy I didn't mention at 6,900 is Russell Henley. I think he'll be kind of chalky, but I do think this course sets up really well for like the historical Russell Henley like success courses. Coastal track, windy, bent grass, par 4 scoring. All those things are kind of there. I don't think the upside is like super high for Henley, but a top 20 I think is well within his range of outcomes.
Yeah, I've already seen him being talked up a little bit, so I would be I would look at his ownership.
Matthew Southgate too.
We'll see. Yeah, I'd rather go there. But like I said, honestly, I don't think I'm gonna have that much exposure under $7,000. Like I'd rather build more balanced. And you can find, like I already mentioned, Finau, ZJ, and Snedeker. You put those 3 guys together, and you can afford basically whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a move in a lot of my GPP lineups, and mix in Lee in there, and then just sort of avoid having to deal with the headache of 6K guys in a major. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay. Is that everything? You guys have any other hot takes here?
No, just make sure you join the listener league, and I'm speaking directly to you, Evan, not to the listeners.
Yeah, I've been a little bad at that lately.
It's tough.
Nah, but definitely this week for sure. All right, thank you for joining us for Bogey Free Open Edition. You can of course subscribe to the podcast on iTunes under Bogey Free. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel Bogey Free as well.
When it's back up.
Yeah, when it's back up. Don't subscribe. I mean, if you want to subscribe to Cheese Dog 343, go ahead. Go ahead. Be my guest. I'll be very happy. And of course, if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contest this week.
See ya.